Hey guys, and welcome back to Grayson's Bookmark. Today I have a really exciting video for you today. It is the Maker Work in Progress tag started by Becca Smith on authortube. If you hear a whistling, it's my oven in the background. Sorry, not sorry, can't fix that. I first saw Kate Kavanaugh's video where she made Vampire Bite cupcakes for her vampire novella, and then I watched Becca's video and she made a little shoulder dragon and it was really cute. So I wanted to do this tag for my work in progress. And the point of this tag is to make something from your work in progress and talk about it. Now you may have realized this isn't my normal filming location. We are in my kitchen and today we are baking something from Seaside. And if you want to watch other videos in the Seaside process, I will link the playlist down below. Becca's channel and the 8 questions of the Maker tag will be in the description. Now let's bake some bread. Are we bready? give me a bread pun. I got one. You better believe it. We're baking bread. And right before I get started, I want to tag people. I know my channel is relatively small right now, so this may not reach many people, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay, so the 3 people I would like to tag are Courtney Kreated, Books from Bed, and Here Comes the Sun. And without further ado, bake! Let's make some bread. Oh, and yeast. Forgot yeast. You know, the thing that makes bread. Okay, so the first thing to do is to combine the yeast, milk, honey, and sugar. Okay, so the first question is, what is the working title of your work in progress and what genre is it in? So, the working title, or the shorthand title of my work in progress is called Seaside. It is a young adult LGBT+ romance between 2 boys, and this is warm milk and yeast right now. And then I'm adding a 1/4 cup of sugar and 3 tablespoons of honey. Question number 2 is, what are you making? And how does it relate to your work in progress? Well, today we are making cinnamon hollow bread, and this bread is a very key plot point in the book. It is how Luca and his father are working out their rent deficit so they can, you know, make rent on time. And so a large part of this book and the reason for my 2 characters meet cute is because of this bread. In the book, the bread is described as like warm and cinnamony and with a bunch of different spices, and it's just, it causes rapture in those who taste it. And it is powerful enough to stop arguments. There's nothing magic about it, but if there were magic food, this would be one of them. And this has to sit for 10 minutes. And I will definitely put the recipe in the description, so if y'all ever want to make Luca's bread or find out what it tastes like, you can make it yourself. Okay, so I literally just had to do all that yeast thing over again. Because the first time my yeast didn't want to cooperate. But this time it looks a lot more foamy, so we're gonna continue ahead. Next are the eggs. You ready? You're watching? Okay, one more time. Ignore that, you didn't see that. Okay, now the eggs. 1/2 cup or 1 stick of melted butter. Now this recipe only calls for cinnamon, but if you know me, you know that I don't listen to recipes. I stubbornly make them better. So in order to make this one better, I'm adding more spices. And my reasoning is because canon. Spices like cinnamon and ginger can really dry out a dough, so I'm gonna be cautious but flavorful. 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon ginger, and 1/8 each of nutmeg and cloves. And if you don't have all these things, allspice would work just as well. Very little little amount. I hate nutmeg, to be honest. It does make things taste a little bit like pumpkin pie, which I also don't like. Just adds little something. Oh yes, and the vanilla. Now I know this is imitation. Don't come at me. Vanilla's expensive. Like, y'all know how expensive vanilla is? Or maybe you don't, but like this, if this was real vanilla, it'd be like $25. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Vanilla. Whisk to combine. Now it's dough hook time. There's a right way to measure flour and a wrong way, but I'm not going to teach you that. I suggest watching any of Claire Stafford's baking videos. This recipe calls for 3.5. 1, and I can probably get you guys in on this action. No, come out! Come out! Hi, Editing Grayson here with words of wisdom. Do not do this. Oh no, it's a disaster! Gosh, there's an ungodly amount of flour on this counter. I know you can't see it because of the mixing bowl's in the way. It's really horrendous. 3rd cup. Carry on. But like, this is it, guys! This is the bread making! It's happening! Oh, things are, okay. I don't know if it's like ready yet. I said about 3 to 5 minutes, but I mean, maybe I'll do a little longer. It's only like been like 30 seconds. I mean, but like it's happening. Like, we got dough. We got dough though. I think I should stop now, but I said this was gonna take like 3 to 5 minutes. For those who don't like me holding this like this, I'm sorry. I think I'm just gonna go with it. And if it fails, then you know, that's content too. Of course I want it to be great, but you know, sometimes there's beauty in failure. Not that this is gonna fail. Yeah, so now I need to put this in an oiled bowl in the oven. So I will get a bowl and put some oil in it and then put the dough in it and be right back. The oven is to prove it, by the way. It's not baking, it's just in a warm spot for a few minutes. Okay, so now that the bread is resting, time to answer the 3rd question, which is use 1 word to describe your main character, and if you have multiple characters, do 1 for each of them. So Seaside has 3 main characters, Luca, Julian, and Alice, with Luca and Julian getting most of the perspective parts, and Alice has the smaller role. So Luca is 16 years old, he's white and he likes computers and his cat named Croissant, and I say he's just a really anxious person, so anxious is what I would use for him. And Julian's also 16 and his parents are from Ecuador and the United States. He's into like space and like image processing and running. He's much more confident than Luca in his thinking and dialogue, and if I had to describe him, I'd actually say that he's a dreamer. I don't know, like he gets all spacey. Yeah. He dreams about what his future would be like, so dreamer is who Julian is. And for Alice is 18 and she's in college, and we know that she's related to the whole Michael thing. Maybe I forgot to say, or I will say in a second, but the premise of my book is that Luca's boyfriend Michael has died over the summer and now it is in December, and we know that A-List is involved in the whole Michael thing. We don't know exactly how yet.
Hi, it's me again. I'm just gonna have an aside and say that this is not a murder mystery. She did not kill him.
She is in college and not having a great time, and so I'd say she's pessimistic in a realistic way. So I would say she's a realist. Okay, so the bread is rested. Now it's time for the scary part. Actually making the challah braid. In here I've got a cinnamon sugar and butter mixture, and it is for the inside of the braid, but now I have to cut it. I guess I'll just move your camera angle and see how this goes. Okay, so it says to lightly flour the surface. I've got some flour left over from my little disaster. Does that look lightly floured? Yes. Okay, here is my dough. Isn't she beautiful? Okay, and it says to cut it in 3 pieces. And while I'm doing this, I'll answer question number 4, which is give an elevator pitch for your book. So my book is, so I haven't formally worked on an elevator pitch yet, but I will think one up right now. Luca's boyfriend Michael has died over the summer, and Luca is getting over it just fine. But when Luca meets Julian, will he come clean or hide from his past? These don't feel even. Like this one feels like it needs. We're gonna go with it. And now it says to shape each one into like a 16-inch long rectangle. I got a ruler. Okay, do you think I should get my rolling pin or should it just be fine? Is this upsetting? Okay, I'll be back. The dough is actually not sticking very much, so I'm finding it easy to work with, and I hope it will stay that way. It said each one should be 16 by 5 inches. And I assume it was in the oven just to rest because it didn't really rise that much. A foot, okay, a little longer. But is the width right? Yes, width is good. It's gotta be longer. You know, ovals are just as nice as rectangles. Don't let anyone tell you differently. If your challah looks like a blob instead of a rectangle, that's perfectly fine. This isn't my first time making bread, but it is my first time shaping bread like a sweet bread. I've made soft pretzels before and they went well. So I think these should be like similar to that. And I don't think they would be too difficult to make. I don't know, I just like braiding things. I think it's a cool technique in baking. I kind of like how I can just shape it into a rectangle, like it's happening. It's still only 12 inches. I wonder if I'll just make a shorter one. I'll be back when I have all of these flattened out. Okay, so bread rectangles acquired. I got my cinnamon sugar situation over here. Wish I had a pastry brush, but the best thing I got is this spatula. So yeah, now I'm going to fill these with cinnamon sugar thingy, and my rectangles could be a little more rectangular-ish, but I don't have time to fix it. I'm a little worried that it's like runny and maybe I should add a little more sugar. So question number 4 is, who is your favorite character and why? And I have to say, hands down, it would have to be A-List. She's just, I think it's because she's closest in age to me. She's 18 and I'm 21. And I feel like we have some of the same outlooks on college and like the struggles of trying to keep up with a college lifestyle for the first time and like moving in and having to live with a roommate. And I just feel like I tried not to write her as a self-insert, but she definitely took some of the thoughts I had about college into her own narrative. And I don't know, like her fashion choice is also like 10 out of 10. Like I love her vibe and her aesthetic. She has this really large red wool coat that she bought for herself. It's like her first nice college thing. So she wears a bunch of red and black, and I really like her fashion sense. Her hair is also dyed herself, and that is something I've never done but always been interested in. So yeah, I really like my girl Alice. I mean, she has some of like the same fashion sense as me, like, you know, as much as a t-shirt and jeans can be. But yeah, I like her style, I like her hair, I like, just her like realist personality. I think it gels with my other two perspectives I've got going on. Also, I have no idea if I'm overfilling or underfilling these. I'm just doing my best with what I assume to be correct. I know it's a little messy, but that's okay. You won't be able to see that in the challah. You won't be able to see that in the challah when it's wrapped up, hopefully. It's kind of like dry over here, and I guess it's because of the butter. So I might as well use the rest of it. I mean, if I'm making cinnamon bread, I want to make cinnamon bread. I don't want to halfway this. Make it dark. Of course, if I overfill it, I won't be able to roll it very well. So just pray for me. And that is the whole thing. That makes me happy. Okay, now for the rolling. I can do this. Let's do the middle one. So I've never made challah before, as I said, but I do have a fair bit of baking experience. I like to bake, like every so often. Like I'll make cookies from scratch, and I'll make, gosh, cakes take a lot of work. You know what I don't have time for? I don't have time to frost cakes. Frosting cakes takes way, it's too much effort for like what it is. We should all be making more one-layer cakes if we're gonna make cakes at all. I've never made a pie before. I think that would be interesting. Oh, look, there's the first roll. That wasn't so bad. Okay, and it said to pinch it closed, and I can do that. And I know you're not supposed to be gentle when you're doing this. You really want it sealed. You don't want it leaking out. Like no leaking. I don't want Mary Berry to come after me. As good as that one's gonna get. Let me know if you've made challah before or any kind of complicated twisty bread. I think it's definitely a skill. And like I see my dough is already wanting to not stay together. Let me know your struggle, or if you have any tips for making this. Maybe I've been too slow and that's why the dough is all seizing up on me. But I'd love some challah tips, or just bread tips in general. I'm glad I started over with that second packet of yeast, because I wasn't really confident in that one.
And as I braid this challah bread, I will answer question number 6, which is where or when does your book take place? I think I forgot to answer that in this clip because I haven't really decided that for myself yet, but I will take a stab at it. The book world of Seaside is set in a small coastal town. 99% sure it's on the East Coast. It is currently December, so winter, and it's very cold, and all the tourists have left for the season. It's not really a busy tourist season in the summer either, but especially in the winter, the book carries the feeling of abandonment. The dates of the chapters in the book line up with December of 2020, though I'm not setting it in a particular year, to avoid a certain global event.
Oh yeah, my car's too.
Look, Mom, look at my bread!
Look at her! Look! Oh my gosh, she is definitely doubled in size. Okay, so for question 7, I'm gonna try the egg cracking one more time. Hey! That was a little better, and no shell. Question number 7 is, if you were stuck on a deserted island with one of your characters, who would you choose and why? And now, This is a very easy answer for me, and the answer is B. And B is Julian's older sister. She is 24, has a job and everything. She works at a pottery warehouse, so she's really good at making things with her hands. I don't know, she's strong and independent, and I just like her vibe, her energy. She's very calming and happy and at the same time. And you know, she's a really fun person to be around. So it says to brush with egg, but I do not have the luxury of a pastry brush. And an egg wash is supposed to make bread nice and shiny. And doing this process is reminding me like the steps of real bread making, which is like that you do an egg wash on bread. I completely forgot this step, so now that will be in the book. So yay, learning. Okay, I think that's good. I am gonna go a little rogue because the recipe says to put sugar on top, but I'm gonna use salt because that's how I wrote it. And if it's bad, then I know not to do that again. It's also sea salt, although not like coastal salt. That would be great. I mean, sweet and salty, right? It's gotta be good. Can't be bad. I remember also in the book I said that the salt was put on after it's baked, and I don't think that's accurate anymore. Maybe I shouldn't even be doing it right now because it's gonna dissolve in the egg, but you know, we're learning. I'm also gonna put a little bit of like this type of sugar on it because I feel like it's the right thing to do. Feels right. Well, I'm thinking about how good this would be with like some nuts on it, or like maybe like pecans in the bread, or like, ooh, I'd love to do like a chocolate challah with cocoa powder in it. That would be really, really tasty. I mean, how bad can it be? Even if it's like, even if this stuff is like messing it up, like, how bad can I really mess it up, you know? Now we wait for the oven to preheat. And I will be back with you when it does. Now, we did have a little bit of leakage, but overall, good browning. I think it's a good bake. This leaking probably wouldn't happen in Luca's bread, but overall, I think she looks nice. It's a little dark on this side, but if I go to the other side, this one looks a little bit better. The bread's finally done. It's had a moment to chill and cool off a little bit. Question number 8 is what fictional place in your book would you want to be real? And I'd say in my book, like, very prominently features a lighthouse, specifically the 5th floor of the lighthouse. It's a really cozy place, and also like some like dark past with it. The word lighthouse is in Seaside's actual title. It's very prominent in the plot and in just the atmosphere of the book. Let's cut into it. So that's the cross section. I'm glad I put sauce on top. It's really good. Almost cakey, although definitely the structure is more like bread. I feel like there could definitely be more salt in the dough, and I will take that into consideration next time. But overall, I'm really pleased with it. I'm glad I did this tag because without it, I never would have had the motivation to actually make the bread for my book, and it's given me actually some good information about what else I should include in my story, like egg wash, for example. So yeah, the cinnamon part's really good, but like the dough itself isn't very flavorful. It would definitely need more salt. Anyway, it's good. And as a closer, I invite you all to do this tag and make something from your work in progress. Challenge yourself, maybe with a baking challenge that you've never done before. Although you can do other things, like sew, cook, or build, maybe draw a map of your fantasy world. Thanks for watching this video, and if you liked it, I would appreciate if you liked and subscribed to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! The salt was a good choice.